I think this was a good look in broadening what animation can be and opening it up and getting a good look at using different textures and different materials and using animation as like a true art form and exploring these different textures. I think this was a real fun piece. I think the movement was really fun with the different materials. I think the sound, the syncing issues were interesting. I think they were on purpose, but I think they added a layer of disjointedness to the piece that made it seem even more surreal. But overall, this was a really skilled animation piece.
The animation was very high quality, to the point where it gets borderline realistic, uh, which helps create this sense of unease and uncomfort, especially when you have the polarizing contrast between these two women. One's very giddy, very happy, humming a tune, and then it contrasts with another girl who's crying. Uh, while one is experiencing life, the other's experiencing death. And I'm not sure if I'm reading it wrong, but it felt like at some point they kind of collide where the other girl essentially dies, uh, and flowers grow from her corpse. Uh, it was a very uncomfortable feeling. But I think that was the point.
It looks very realistic as far as facial features. It is a little concerning to think that all TV and movies could end up being in this AI style. The AI figure does represent various emotions, but there's still something that's just not fully human about it. It's like a recreation of human experiences, but just like it's missing the soul. So when you see these emotions, it's like it's missing the soul of the emotions, which has always been sort of my issue with AI, and AI is a very hot topic right now. Because people are striking over AI within the industry, but it's still impressive nonetheless. It appears as if this AI figure is camouflaging within the environment and representing the environment as various forms. And it almost feels like this is a display of what a forest would feel like when dealing with a forest fire. Um, but as with everything, there's always evolution. So even through the destruction, you do see the growth of flowers coming out of the destruction. Um, so yeah, it was just interesting to see the technology done in this way.
This was a really great way of showing how textures can work in animation. It almost seemed at first it was real, and then it switched to animation with a real girl switching to animation. It was something that was definitely interesting because it was playing with makeup and then textures and everything else where it was showing pretty much just showing skill in animation. Um, you kind of got it. The sound not going with the lips is a little unnerving. I think that's what the animator was going for. It was kind of creepy and kind of sounded, it felt like it came out of a video game just with the unnerve, because the music was definitely skin crawly and stuff, but I think that's exactly how it was supposed to be.
The animation on this was really great. Um, it looked really realistic. At first, I wasn't sure if it was real live acting or animation, and I think that made it really go well in terms of creating empathy for the natural environment as the short film progresses. It's definitely a little eerie at times, and I think part of that is because it's so realistic and it really has an impact on tapping into our empathy as audience members.
this sort of dives into yin and yang and not necessarily in a grander sort of light. You see this lighter skin toned woman who seems to be kind of cheerful, happy. You hear some humming involved in this process. And the details of this animation, like you can see even like peach fuzz like on their upper lip and nose at times. It's so finesse and delicate on the details of the skin and the body. I focused more on that than anything else. And we're then given this darker toned woman, and she is kind of foiled, the opposite of our character here. She's crying, she's sad and upset. I think they got their point across very strongly here of, we end up, seeing these two perspectives of this character and flowers growing with her body to then being shifted to this moment of dead grass and this moment of this girl having this connectivity and this chameleon-like moment with this tree, to then only essentially be burned at the stake and be like burned alive, and just having this pain and this torture and this 180, I think, was just very strong, like two different perspectives of our way of life.